Titan Souls began as a game jam project, but after winning a bunch of awards, the team spent a bit over a year turning it into a fully fledged tale of a boy and his bow and arrow and a lot of titans.
With next to no setup, you're plonked into this ancient-feeling open world, which you'll get to explore very little of before you stumble into the game's first boss. And about a second later, your first death.
Yeah, at least the deaths aren't permadeath, but there sure are a lot of them. To balance this out though, bosses can be dropped with a single arrow.
But of course, you only have one arrow. So that means that every time you miss a shot, you're defenseless until you retrieve it. Now, you know me, Badge, I'm a sucker for archery in games, so the idea of crafting this entire game around an archer with only one arrow I found really intriguing. But as much as I wanted to love this, I just wasn't having fun.
Really, I had the complete opposite reaction. Each time this game knocked me down, I was determined to charge back in and try again. Sure, the bosses are hard, but I found inching closer each time was really rewarding.
Yeah, I agree that after all that hard work, finally felling the Titans gave me some real satisfaction. And I think the game captures that moment so beautifully. But then just getting there was such a slog.
Do you mean the open world component or the boss fights?
Well, both. I mean, for me, there was a real disconnect between escaping these really aggressive bosses and then having to try and line up that one really accurate shot. You're pretty much always running during boss fights, which meant that I was shooting and hoping rather than being able to line up shots that actually felt skillful. Plus, the open world sections felt a little bit like padding since there wasn't any real gameplay in them.
I just don't agree with you on the bosses. I found them all so unique. And I found a good rhythm between learning their weak spot and then replaying it until I had the right shot. But yes, I couldn't agree with you more on the open world sections. It was just this big empty space between me and the bosses I wanted to get back to.
Oh, I know. Just respawn us at the bosses already.
Totally. Other games with brutal boss fights, like Dark Souls, pace the rest of the game out so you're just as tense and engaged in the moment-to-moment combat as regular enemies. But even with those pacing issues, the boss fights were balanced just right for me. I felt like I was making progress each time, and each boss added something new.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, because while I found the game's single arrow mechanic really interesting, I think for me, being bounced around between those boss fights that felt too rushed and then those open world sections that were a bit dull just meant that I never really found a middle ground. So I'm giving it 2 stars.
I'm giving it 3.5 stars. Do you want to say it?
Not if you want to say it.
I'm not.
Do you want to do one word each?
Yeah. You say it.
And now here's Goose with the news. Pretty sure that was amazing.
It's pretty good.
All right, do one better.
All right.
Go.
And now here's Mr. Goosentons with the Newsy Woozy.
I did faces so you could use it. Now they will use it.